Background. A background is a person's education, family, and experience.
The new teacher had a background in science and math.
Bait. Bait is something used to trick a person or thing to do something.
The best bait for catching fish is a big fat worm.
Chronicle. To chronicle something means to record an event or speech.
The daily newspaper chronicles local and world events.
Copper. Copper is a red-brown metal often used in electric wire and pipes.
Ancient hunters melted copper to make knives and spears.
Disease. A disease is an illness that causes specific problems.
He had a disease that caused him to lose his hearing.
Folklore. Folklore is the collection of beliefs and stories of a culture.
India's folklore has stories written in long poems about great warriors.
Infect. To infect someone means to give them an illness.
The common cold infects hundreds of millions of people each year.
Itch. To itch means to rub the skin with your fingernails.
The rough fabric in his shirt made the back of his neck itch.
Literature. Literature is books, plays, and poetry.
Early American literature covers the poetry and stories from 1500 to 1800.
Millennium. A millennium is 1,000 years.
Stonehenge is believed to have been built about 5 millenniums ago.
Myth. A myth is a traditional story that explains a culture's history and beliefs.
In Greece, There was a myth about a woman who had snakes for hair.
Promote. To promote someone means to raise them to a higher position or rank.
After 2 years in the company, she was promoted to a manager.
Relate. To relate to something means to have a connection with it.
A company's plan usually relates to how much profit it can make.
Religion. A religion is a belief in a god or gods.
Their religion taught that people should forgive their enemies.
Sum. A sum is a specific amount of money.
He calculated the numbers to see what the sum of his bills would be.
Teller. A teller is a person who works with a bank's customers.
The teller at the bank helped Kelly put money into a savings account.
Trustworthy. If someone is trustworthy, they are honest and truthful.
Mary is one of the most trustworthy people I've ever met.
Update. To update something means to make it more modern.
We need to update the programs on our computers.
Vein. A vein is a tube in the body that carries blood toward the heart.
The blue veins in my hand are just under my skin.
Venom. Venom is a poisonous substance that comes from animals or plants.
A snake's venom can be used to cure the illnesses it creates.
Charity. Charity is an act of giving help, usually money, to those who need it.
Thanks to his friend's charity, he had enough money to pay the rent.
Commerce. Commerce is the activity of buying and selling things.
The new shopping mall increased the commerce in that section of town.
Condemn. To condemn someone means to give them a specific punishment.
The judge condemned the criminal to 5 years in prison.
Cozy. If something is cozy, then it is comfortable, warm, and relaxing.
The thick blanket made the bed very cozy.
Deplete. To deplete an amount of something means to use up all of it.
All the driving he was doing was depleting his car's fuel supply.
Economy. An economy is the money and businesses of a country or region.
The factory was good for the economy because it brought jobs to the area.
Empire. An empire is a large group of countries ruled by an emperor or empress.
The emperor built roads to make travel easier throughout the empire.
Goods. Goods are anything that can be bought or sold.
Shoes, hats, dresses, and purses were the goods she wanted to buy.
Heed. To heed something means to obey or follow it.
You should heed the advice on the sign and not drive so fast.
Hitchhike. To hitchhike means to travel by asking for rides from passing vehicles.
She didn't have a car, so she hitchhiked several miles to her brother's home.
Mock. To mock someone means to tease them in a cruel way.
The girls mocked Nancy because she was a new student.
Neutral. If someone is neutral, then they do not help either of the two fighting sides.
The girl's friend remained neutral while the couple was arguing.
Persecute. To persecute means to treat someone badly.
Dan felt persecuted because he was smaller than the other boys at school.
Pity. Pity is the feeling of sadness and kindness for those who are suffering.
Because she had pity for the lost boy, she helped him find his parents.
Reduce. To reduce something means to make it less in size or number.
When the store reduced its prices, people wanted to shop there.
Scribe. A scribe was a person whose job was to copy written works.
In ancient Egypt, scribes recorded important events.
Temper. A temper is someone's mood, or a chance that they might get angry.
She has a temper. Even the slightest mistakes make her angry.
Throne. A throne is the special chair in which a ruler sits.
Nobody except the king and queen sat in the thrones in the Great Hall.
Unity. Unity is the state of people working together for a certain purpose.
The project was finished early, thanks to the unity of the workers.
Victor. A victor is a group or person that wins in a contest.
At the end of the game, the blue team was the victor.
Accurate. If something is accurate, it is completely correct.
The story in the newspaper wasn't very accurate.
Analyze. To analyze something is to study it.
The scientist will analyze the blood sample.
Asteroid. An asteroid is a giant rock from outer space.
In 1908, a giant asteroid hit Siberia.
Controversy. A controversy is a dispute about something that affects many people.
There has been a lot of controversy over the judge's decision.
Evolve. To evolve is to change over time.
Many people think that humans evolved from animals.
Factor. A factor is something that has an effect on the way another thing happens.
Smoking is the main factor that causes lung cancer.
Genetic. If something is genetic, it is related to the genes in one's body.
The color of one's eyes is genetic.
Genome. A genome is the collection of all the genes in a living thing.
Understanding the human genome may help cure many diseases.
Identical. To be identical is to be the same as someone or something else.
James and John are identical twins.
Intellectual. An intellectual is a very smart person.
We've always considered my Uncle Max the intellectual of the family.
Majority. A majority of something is almost all of the people or things in that group.
A majority of the people voted for Tom Smith in the election.
Mammal. A mammal is an animal that usually has hair and is not born from an egg.
Even though it lives in the water, whales are actually mammals.
Multiply. To multiply is to increase in number.
In the past year, the number of people at work multiplied by 10%.
Offspring. Offspring are the children of a person or the babies of an animal.
The dog's offspring had the same color of fur as she did.
Pesticide. A pesticide is a substance used to kill insects.
The farmer sprayed his crops with a pesticide to keep bugs away.
Regulate. To regulate something is to control how it happens.
The bank regulates how much money people can borrow from it.
Reinforce. To reinforce something is to make it stronger.
Peter reinforced his opinion with information from a book.
Stricken. If one is stricken by a disease or problem, they are badly affected by it.
Mike was stricken with a horrible illness.
Vast. If something is vast, it is very large.
The wealthy man bought a vast amount of land in the countryside.
Vegetarian. A vegetarian is someone who does not eat any meat products.
I became a vegetarian because I don't like the taste of meat.
Cherish. To cherish something means to hold it as very important.
I cherish this trophy I won.
Compassion. Compassion is a feeling of understanding for someone who is hurt or suffering.
The veterinarian had compassion for the sick little puppy.
Consent. Consent is permission to do something.
Their mother gave the children consent to go outside and play.
Core. The core is the center of something.
The rings of a tree start forming at its core.
Cunning. If someone is cunning, they are good at tricking people.
The cunning child fooled his parents into thinking that he was kind.
Dizzy. If someone is dizzy, then they feel off balance, as if they will fall down.
The pregnant woman was dizzy after standing up too quickly.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium is the balance between different forces.
The sudden drop in prices upset the equilibrium of the economy.
Foster. To foster a feeling or a skill means to help it develop.
She helped foster a sense of calm in the little boy.
Grind. To grind something means to break it into very small pieces or powder.
She wanted to grind the beans so she could brew some coffee.
Growl. To growl means to make a deep, angry sound.
The dog started to growl at the man walking by.
Moderation. Moderation is a state of being just enough, but not too much.
It is important to eat in moderation so that you can have a healthy body.
Predator. A predator is an animal that kills and eats other animals.
The peregrine falcon is a predator that eats fish.
Sane. If someone is sane, they can think in a normal way.
Oliver does not act like a sane person when he is angry.
Saucer. A saucer is a small round dish that you set a cup on.
He placed the spoon on the saucer.
Snatch. To snatch something means to take it away with a quick motion.
He was so hungry that he snatched an apple from a tree.
Stagger. To stagger means to move in an unsteady way and almost fall over.
He staggered around after having too much to drink.
Stumble. To stumble means to put your foot down wrong so that you almost fall.
He stumbled as he ran through the puddle.
Tense. If someone is tense, they are worried something bad might happen.
After the phone call, Monica was very tense.
Tumble. To tumble means to fall, often in a rolling way.
He lost his balance while snowboarding and tumbled to the ground.
Withhold. To withhold something is to not give it to someone.
They withheld all information until she paid her fine.
Aircraft. An aircraft is a vehicle that flies in the sky, such as an airplane or helicopter.
At the museum in the airport, you can see a lot of old aircraft.
Celebrity. A celebrity is someone who is famous.
It was the highlight of the evening when the celebrities arrived.
Concrete. Concrete is a substance made from stones.
The man covered the ground with concrete.
Decisive. If someone is decisive, they make decisions quickly.
Our boss is very decisive, so it did not take long to organize the project.
Esteemed. If someone is esteemed, many people like or respect them.
An esteemed scientist is coming to the university to talk about her discoveries.
Ethical. If something is ethical, it is the right thing to do.
Many people believe that it is ethical to help others in need.
extinct. If plants or animals are extinct, there are none left.
There used to be dinosaurs all over the world, but now they are extinct.
Hardy. If a person or plant is hardy, it is strong and can live through difficult conditions.
The farmer is a hardy man and doesn't mind working outside.
Institute. An institute is an organization that is interested in research or teaching.
I'm going to a lecture about ancient Rome at the Historical Institute.
Jealousy. Jealousy is a feeling of wanting something that somebody else has.
She felt a lot of jealousy when she saw Luke with 2 girls.
Migrate. To migrate means to move from one place to another.
Many birds migrate to warmer countries in the winter.
Nurture. To nurture something means to care for it as it grows or develops.
Robert nurtured his plants, and that is why they grow so well.
Overhead. If something is overhead, it is located above you.
As we sat on top of the hill, a plane flew overhead.
Principle. A principle is a belief about the correct way to behave.
To maintain principles, it's vital to watch, listen, and speak carefully.
Rural. If a place is rural, it is in the countryside instead of the city.
I want to live in a small house in a rural area.
Secluded. If a place is secluded, it is far away from any other place.
There was a secluded bench in the park.
Species. A species is a type of plant or animal.
There are 21 different species of butterfly in this forest.
Swamp. A swamp is a very wet area of land.
There are lots of wild animals living in the swamp.
Traverse. To traverse means to move or travel through an area.
The explorer traversed the desert alone on a camel.
Zoology. Zoology is a subject in which people study animals.
Helen wants to study zoology because she has always liked animals.